Just hit got it on your screen.
All right, you guys, here we are. It is another Spades community show. I'm your host, Bobby Love, and let me just tell you, have we got some announcements? I know that it has been a bit of a haul to get to here, and we really appreciate everybody's patience and understanding and just, you know, hanging with us while we get this figured out. But man, we're here, you guys. This is it. This is where this whole project, the whole thing that started all these years ago, is finally coming to fruition at the right time with the right people. You know, and there's a thing I read that talked about how, you know, they say that you have to have the right people on the right bus, but it's really more about having the right people on the right bus who are all sitting in the right seats. And that is 100% what we have got going on right now. So with no further ado, I'm going to let Stephen take over and show you guys all of the updates. And then I think we're going to do updates and where we're at, and then where we're going to be heading here in the next couple of weeks, which is just, I've already seen some of this stuff. And guys, what Stephen has come up with for, are we talking about the prosperity program today?
No, that's okay. That needs its own show.
Okay. All right. So we're just going to stick to updates and then where we're heading down the line. So with no further ado, everybody give it up for Stephen Fanto.
Sorry if I'm moving in and out. We're trying this virtual background thing. Okay. Thank you all very much, especially those of you who watch the video after it's done. We know this isn't the optimum time for you. So here's the really big announcement. We will absolutely be launching this month.
Yes.
Everything is working. Everything has been beta tested. And I don't blame anyone who's been looking at the development that's been going on saying, why does your website look so crappy? And the reason was that you need to make all the functionalities work and make them work together in the proper manner. And then you go do the design. So with no further ado, for those of you who have not seen the new design, and a shout out to our design and brand coordinator, Shareya Dharma, who has made this beautiful website for us. Here is the look of the new community website. And this looks a lot different than what it used to. Now, what's important here is, obviously, everybody already knows that we're a community-based token with a cause. The community will benefit you, the user. We benefit charities because that's what the token was minted for in specifically. When it comes to tokens, sometimes there's huge amounts of money and they just go into some millionaire's pocket. We want it to go to places where there's need in the world, and you all have a voice in that. You can nominate a charity and you can vote on the charities that are nominated. More importantly, as funds come into the community, those funds are used to buy our tokens off our own exchange. That means we don't need just demand on a exchange for crypto tokens. Anything that happens in our community is demand. It's de facto demand for the token. And that will mean that we have a non-volatile, ever increasing value to the token. This part's really important. We're in beta and we're opening soon. Like I said, it will absolutely be this month. There's no question about it because everything works.
I'm excited, man. It's so cool.
Everything's working and has been actually tested. So it's just a bit of cleanup on a few things. So for those of you who previously jumped in and were able to create an account, I just want to let you know, you probably got the email today, but we will be purging your accounts and you'll have to start over when we officially launch. All right. If you are looking around the website and you see the login, it's only going to take you back to the home page. So what's the community about? It's a global community with an equal playing field that gives everybody the opportunity to meet on the same level and Bobby just disappeared. See, he's a magician. And these are the ways that people can earn in. Through the marketplace, you can sell or buy both in stores or in auctions. You may not know what your product is actually worth. So auction is a better item for that. And eventually we'll be doing NFT sales here as we run a star chain, a specialized blockchain, a Spades blockchain through our community. That's a future development, but we won't be waiting to launch. there's only so much that you can wait, but there's enough to be happening here. You can create your own groups. You get a Facebook page, a social page, kind of like Facebook. A lot of people don't like Facebook. Right now, we don't have ads there. Later, we're going to add a little bit of ads, but the revenue from that ads are going to be shared with the whole community so that every single person who is participating here, whether you're in the second world, third world, or first world, have something that you're earning. And that way you can participate in an economy. It's about economy. That's what the site is really about. All right. You can share your events. They can be free, just if you want to market and share something, or you can actually sell tickets to events. And that's another way that you can make money. As Kira, David, pretty much everybody on this knows, I'm really big into drums, and my favorite is African rhythms. We've got African charities that we're working with. If they sold an event and it cost me $1 or even $5 for a couple hours to see a presentation of their drumming and their music, I would absolutely pay that. And I think other members would too. And let me tell you, even if 10 people at $5, $50 were to buy an event ticket to go see that show live streaming, which actually that's one of the good things about COVID. We're all used to that now. That would be a lot of money. That would really make a difference. It would feed a lot of people for a month in that type of community. And this is your community. You have a vote on all the things that take place here, and people who need to find jobs also can do that. So this is what we're all about. And this really sums it up for me. All aspect of our ecosystem supports the whole. The community itself, which supports you, it supports the charities, and it supports the value of the token. The charities, as they come in and they bring members, that also supports the community, and any new members support the value of the token. And the value of the token supports the communities and the charities as well. As the token value goes up, more people are going to want to be able to earn them in the ways that our community allows you to do so. So this is, I believe, well thought out. And I don't want you to have to read too much. We will be updating the most recent charitable award winners right here on the front page. And you will also be able to find them if you click the read more. Right now, we've got people in Nepal. There's over 10,000 people connected with that group, and they build schools and give scholarships to people. There is Dream Culture USA, which is an after-school program for youth that is at risk, and it teaches them business and entrepreneurial skills. All those kids will be coming here and working with our system, and we have specific ways that they can make money. Now, for those of you who are more into crypto, here's all the crypto information. Let me just say here real quick, this is what really makes this different. You don't have to be interested in crypto tokens in order to benefit from the community. A lot of people who have tried to deal with crypto tokens are a little bit put off by what it takes to get into it. You have to give them your driver's license. You have to go through all the AML, the KYC. There's all these different things that are involved. Our community makes it very simple. Come in. You can come in for free, nothing. And you can start earning by selling things that you have or sharing things. And we even give people their own products to sell through affiliate marketing. That way, everybody can participate. There's a little more wordy stuff here. I'll let you guys read that if you want to. This is spades.community. The accounts are free. Everyone's welcome. All right. Pretty much this is what's going on here. This is an important part to me. So as we support communities, what we're trying to do is use technology to better the planet. If we can get more access to people in the places where some of the charities that we're supporting are on the ground, like in Nepal and in Africa, then they can get access to telemedicine. They can get access to global markets, meaning the users can actually use this to import wealth. And we have additional programs so that that wealth can be utilized for food security locally. Right? This is all about solving problems, right? Of course, with access to the internet comes education. And this is what we're about. We can provide you with digital wealth. So these are our main projects on the site, actually helping provide access, helping with local exchange communities as are needed with backing of our token, because that's the purpose of our particular crypto token, is backing of other types of currencies online, like this system, and offline as well. And also to help individuals. Look, this is every individual. You don't have to be in Africa. We want to help you. Okay. So that's what it's about. Access to global wealth for people from all over the world. Let me jump, because most people watching this are familiar with our community. And let me tell you, everything is now working. The banking system is what took the longest part. And right now, of course, you can add credits. Now, for new people, let me just explain this. When you're inside of our community and you're buying things from members, or you're selling something and you're receiving wealth, we do that in cloud credits. Just think of them as a dollar. It's a dollar, but it's a digital dollar, and it's not a SPADES token. We don't use SPADES tokens within our system because a SPADES token is a cryptocurrency on a blockchain. Whenever there's a blockchain transaction, there are extra fees. There's energy that's used. It's more expensive. It can take more time. And that's a whole different show that gets into the basics of cryptocurrency. So what I just want to explain to you is this. When somebody buys something, like my lovely wife, Kira, is here today. You can see her down there. She's got a wonderful book that people can buy. David, actually, who's here, has a book. They can put this book for sale on the site, market it, and someone comes along and they say, I want to buy the book. And they check out just like, eBay or anywhere else. They pay in dollars through a credit card. They pay through PayPal. They pay through GPay, or they can even pay with cryptocurrency. So those people bring in money, cash, and Kira or David, if they sold their book, get credits. They get credits because it's cheaper, it's faster, and they can then cash out, which you see over here, their credits for our tokens. And that's very valuable to them, because the more you cash out, the more tokens you get. Then if you sit on them, the more the community grows, the higher the value in the token. So this system gives everybody an easy way to get into crypto at basically no risk whatsoever.
Well, this is the other thing I'm going to add in here that I think is very important to what we're doing, right? If you look at every cryptocurrency, it works the same way that a stock does, right? So when we watched what happened with Elon Musk, where he said that they were going to start taking Bitcoin for Tesla and then suddenly pulled out, part of the reason they did that is having a speculative currency is not a viable means for an economy. Because how can I trust what I'm going to sell when the value of that could drop in half overnight? And then now what I just sold and took crypto for, I've lost half the value of what I just sold. It's not a viable way to actually transact. And that is what we're doing, and doing so differently in a way that you can actually create a true economic model with a digital currency that is viable, because the cloud credit is not speculative. And when you go to cash out, you can cash it out at whatever the value of the SPADE token is, and then cash that right out to whatever dollar or whatever currency in your current economy that you're in, whether it's the dollar or whatever euro, it could be any of those.
Right.
But you get that value. And then if you decide to not then cash it out of crypto, well, that's on you. But the actual value of what you're selling, you don't lose that. That's why we've set this up this way.
Yeah, that's a really good point. So let's say David said, look, if we were doing SPADES tokens in here and David said, the SPADES token is worth $1 and I'm selling my book for $10. And so he said it's 10 SPADES tokens. And then somebody like a market maker or an Elon Musk who'd bought a bunch of our tokens sold them. And now the token is worth only 75 cents. And David sells his book. Now he only gets $7.50. That's not right. David needs to get what he should get. And therefore, we basically use $1. We don't use it as a dollar itself for a whole lot of reasons I'm not going to go into. I expected you to smile there, David, knowing why we don't use the word dollar. At any rate, look, this is one of the things that needed to be dealt with. And there's a few things in here that's going to be of use to our community. So I come in and I say, I want to cash out 1 cloud credit. In other words, $1. Now there is a 1.85% blockchain transaction fee, because when we send you your tokens, we are doing that on a blockchain. And as I told you, there is a fee every time you do something on a blockchain. So we need to cover that fee. Here's our current SPADES token value. It actually, in the last couple of days, has gone up. And this is based on the demand that we're getting right now. Individuals who purchase tokens in the pre-private ICO will know what they got them for. You will see that the value certainly has gone up. It has not gone down. And we have to run some mathematical algorithms to determine exactly what this is going to be, because we're not on a public exchange yet, but that will happen by the end of the month as well. In the meantime, if we launch before that, to allow you to start getting tokens or cloud credits that you can turn into tokens at a much reduced price, then that gives everybody the capacity to actually earn even more. And we'd like to do that for our community members who are really paying attention before we become a known public entity, which appears to be something that's going to happen. So look, I want 1 cloud credit. I'm literally cashing out 0.9815 after the percentage. Here's how many tokens I'm getting. You put in your wallet address. I'm not going to do that. And you hit proceed. Actually, I'll just do this right now. I'm not sure I even have one left because I cashed out earlier. Okay. So now your tokens are sent to whatever wallet address it is that you chose. That's all working. You can cash out. Okay. And that's what's important. You can also send credits to people anywhere else in the world. And you can request credits, kind of like PayPal, request a payment. So now you can do remittances amongst people around the world in different ways. It's going to take a little longer, a few months, but we are working with people who are setting up crypto debit cards so that you will actually be able to take the SPADES tokens and utilize them through a transaction. They're going to charge you money for that. You have to decide if that's something you want to do, if it's worth the charge. But you will be able to eventually, not when we launch, but eventually cash out your tokens and have cash and utilize a debit card anywhere in the world. What's important about that is I have friends we actually have people working for us on this site in Pakistan, in India, in other places. Well, I could send them money for far cheaper than Western Union or other functions. Also working now, you can see your complete transaction history. Here's all the things that I've sold. This is all part of our beta test. Here's where I cashed out my tokens and I got paid. And then there'll also be things that you've bought. I haven't bought anything from anybody because that's not my part of the beta test. Okay, so I think everybody has actually seen the rest of this site because it's all been working for quite some time. You can add a product. You see I've added a couple products. If you go to the shop, let me move this out of the way, you'll see that these things are in the shop, right? You can purchase cloud credits. Here's a drum. Oh, there's GSIM Racing. Okay, the Eco Village plan, a book. And actually, this one is an auction item, which is why it says read more versus add to cart, because you have to bid on it. So these are all beta test products. This one's particularly interesting because it's a variable product beta test, which means that if, let's say you want to sell a shirt, you can actually, in our shop, and I'm going to go back there for you right now, you can actually, when you're adding a product, this is a full, complete store. You add your name, what your product categories are, you talk about it. You can add a new product category if you're selling something weird like somebody did with DJ nights. But if you want to do a variable product, then you can actually do that. Like these are the colors of the shirts I have, and here are the size of the shirts I have. You can control your whole inventory. So this is my point about this, is that it is a very sophisticated system and you can sell whatever you like. You can also find a job, or you can post jobs if you're looking for people. This is a special area I won't even get into right now. There's the event system. So you can sell events. Well, you can post events. They can be free, like I told you earlier, or you could add your own events. And if you want to do that, you can actually say, here's what it costs, and there's a ticket price for it. So virtual tourism, plays, you know, when Kira and I, we have 3 kids, when they have a show at their school, we have to buy a ticket. So you could actually sell tickets to things through this. So schools, charities, all that kind of stuff, all very simple. You have a complete social profile here, just like on Facebook, so you can market yourself or share things. Or if you just don't like Facebook, this gives you an alternative in a community that supports people. There are groups. You can create your own groups as well, including groups that are part of the decision-making processes of the community. Bobby mentioned this earlier. We're going to have to do a whole show on VIP Prosperity Club. It's designed as an affiliate marketing model so that everybody in our community can make a lot of money. And even those people in the third world who cannot afford it, we have a loan program set up so that nobody is left out. So at any rate, all of this is working. I guess that's really the point. I was talking about Kira and David earlier. They have a book. Well, I have twice, because I'm beta testing, purchased the Gaia Tech Eco Village. So now I can download this product. And if you bought Kira's book, she's putting it in this site. You don't have to go somewhere else to get it, or David Callahan's book. It's going to be in here. You bought it. You got it. So at any rate, all of this is completely working. It's just a little cleanup, and we are going to be launching very shortly. And since we have a few people here, oh, there is some things in chat. Oh, very happy. Okay, no questions. Did anybody have any questions about any of this or comments who've been watching?
I do.
Oh, good.
Okay, so you're talking about my book, right?
Yes.
It's called Creating Life Contracts, which definitely I would love to sell on the site. And that's going to be really awesome because, sorry, the kids are talking in the background. So I'm just wondering about fees because I really want to make sure, you know, and not just myself, but other people who probably are selling things and events and all that. What's the reality in terms of the fees that would be incurred with all the transactions?
Actually, that's a really great question. So there is no fee for you to post your book for sale, because we want people from all over the world, even those people who are starting with nothing. And there's a lot of those people through the charities that we're supporting to be able to have the opportunity to sell something. There will be a fee to the system if your product is sold for between 2 and 3%. We're trying to look at what it is in the marketplace and make it a little bit lower, but there are costs to our community to keep it running. Our hope is that we will earn enough through token sales on future exchange sales that will supplement the cost of running the community so that everybody can just earn as much as they want. And then, Kira, there's also the, you'll be earning cloud credits. That's what you get when you sell your book. So when you go, oh, where'd I go? That's really weird. When you cash out your cloud credits, there's a 1.85% transaction fee. And, you know, that's probably about right. It might actually cost us a little more. It might cost us a little less. We chose Tron. Spades is an asset of Tron instead of using Ethereum as a coin, because Ethereum transactions can cost $40, $400. It's outrageous. The gas fee for those people who are familiar with how cryptocurrencies work. So we have to give kudos to Jack and David here, who in the preliminary research for a coin said, let's go with the Tron network, because there's actually a way, and we'll teach people this later, not tonight, to be able to do blockchain transactions with Spades and Tron, because they're connected, without incurring a transaction fee by staking or freezing some Tron. But we'll get into that. That's a little more advanced cryptocurrency education, which we will provide to everybody on the platform.
Okay, thank you. And also, great job. Like, congratulations.
I mean, guys,
This is great. So we just give a round of applause, right?
I was just gonna actually, I was already just thinking like, you know,
kidding.
And a lot of work.
watching all of this come together. And a lot of this has just been the step-by-step reforming of an idea that Stephen basically wrote a paper about in 2005 called The Free Digital Universe, talking about how to really create an actual economy online, you have to have a way to transact utilizing a digital currency. So, Stephen understood what was going to happen way before, and what has now taken place is that we have essentially reformed and revamped a lot of ideas that were kind of independent and separate that are now coming together into this one community. The thing that I read a book, and it said that if you want to change the way that wealth is distributed, you have to change the way you distribute the wealth. And I think that we have found a way that is actually viable by doing this differently than everybody else. By instead of like, I think of a lot of cryptos like as the same way that I used to play like the game. Wow, you lost your head.
I know.
By the same way, so
Like the headless horseman here.
you know that game that you play with your dog, horrible, where you would pretend to throw this.
Really mind-boggling. You like just like going in and out.
Sorry, I was.
So okay, so the
It's
game,
a little chippy.
the game you used to play with your dog, where you would pretend to throw the stick, right? That is what a lot of these cryptos do. It's like you have all these people that are just chasing after something, hoping that they're going to be the story on the news because Elon Musk happened to tweet about it. And the people that are making the most amount of money in the crypto space are the people that really understand the market and all of those hedge funds, right? Where we are doing things differently. We're building a community around this, and we're making it in a way where you're gonna have to deal with that. We'll have to deal with that eventually, but we're limiting it as much as is reasonable and possible to really make this about the people that are the regular people, the people that don't understand how to trade and buy and sell and sit there and watch the market all day long because they have a regular job. Right. So, this is just going to be the most unique and amazing thing to be a part of.
So that begs another question, because, we've been in the crypto market for a number of years, and since like 2016, and obviously there's definitely been some wide swings in it, so a lot of up and then suddenly down kind of thing. So, and that's partly because of the pump and dump, where people pump it up, buy a lot, and then they dump it. So it would be great to talk about that in terms of spades, like how it could be a stable coin.
That's a great
Or is
question.
that another show?
That could take hours, but in the elevator answer is this. Part of the reason it's taking us longer than we would have necessarily preferred to go on an exchange is that we're talking with various market makers, the people who come in. You need a liquidity pool. There's certain things you need to really make your currency work. And one of them is someone who will back you with, $1 million or more. And what normally happens is that with a new altcoin that people say, this is a great idea, the hedge funds come in and they buy up all of it and they run it up. And because they bought it, it runs the price up.
Right.
And then regular people come along and they go, oh, this is great, we should buy in. And then the hedge fund says, we've made 50%, which takes no time. That can be a day, literally, on a coin like ours, where you're new and you're, a little over a half a penny and you're pre-ICO. So we are going out of our way to find a person or a group of people who believe in social responsibility. And that way we will let them be the market maker, ask them to stake the coin for a certain period of time, so it can't just get dumped in a month, and pay them an interest rate on that. Because the community creates the demand on this token. And in this community, even though we haven't gotten into it, there's a variety of reasons why people will want to refer other people. So if we start with even 1,000 people, and we have more than that waiting right now, as you know, and they refer other people, well, then we could go in a week from 1,000 to 2,000, 2,000 to 4,000 to 8,000. It's an exponential rollout because people are actually rewarded for their participation. And I disappeared again. This is the weirdest thing. Alice in Wonderland. So the point is that there will be exponential growth for a variety of reasons that we just don't have time to get into all of them here. But they have to do with the charities, they have to do with the individuals, they have to do with the prosperity program. They even have to do with the fact that a lot of people don't like the normal social networks, and we're going to give people something that is not polarized. So 6 months down the line, we could go from 200,000 people to 400,000 people in a month or a week, and then 800,000.
Yeah, I mean, this has a good potential for just exponentially growing, you know, and being able to manage that is definitely going to be super important.
It is. But to the point of, you know, a market maker, your original question is, there are smart people out there, and those who get this concept and understand that second and third world users need a way to enter into the global digital marketplace, and we can provide one. With other programs, which we haven't gotten into, that deal with how they get their money out, okay? Because you could say, well, how do those people get their money out? There are solutions to that, but that literally is a program in and of itself.
Well, actually, I think, David, you had something that you wanted to put into this that you were going to say, so feel free, sir.
Yeah, there's no raise your hand button there, so I raised my hand. But another big thing, with all protecting the environment, look at all the stuff that's going on in Bitcoin in Alaska right now. It almost costs $8,000 in electricity to mine one Bitcoin in Alaska, where I'm from. And a lot of the, you know, you have China shutting down some mining operations. You're getting mining shifted from one country to another. Was that a little cocktail break there? And I was disappearing.
I just keep disappearing. I'm not doing it on purpose.
So anyway, yeah, you're going into the quantum field. You'll be back. So I think it's, if you want to explain a little bit the benefits of how our token gains value and gains, like you did, it gains demand where we don't have to be mined, but it demand by the community. So it's a double win for us and for the community.
Sure. Actually, I mean, that in itself too is a whole nother program, but I'm going to give a quick answer as much as I can. So, you know, there's a lot of people who really don't know much about cryptocurrencies that have been joining our community and getting involved in this because they find it as an easy entrance. So they don't understand some of the terminology that I'm going to use here. And I apologize, but we will be educating you all because you really need to understand cryptocurrencies. It's the future. They're not going away. You cannot stick your head in the sand like an ostrich or you're going to get left behind. And part of, you know, what this is about is allowing people a way to really build some wealth. You get some SPADES tokens, you hold on to them for 5 or 6 years. They could be worth 1,000 times what you got them for. I mean, I mean, look at Bitcoin. I could have bought it for a dime and now it's over $40,000. Right? So it's 40,000 times or 400,000 times its value. It's a very doable thing. So regarding the environment, there are legacy cryptocurrencies that everybody's aware with called Ethereum and called Bitcoin, and they have miners. And miners, what they do is there's thousands of people around the world who say, I'm going to keep a copy of every transaction and put it in a blockchain. It's a
Digital ledger.
Yeah, digital. Why am I disappearing? What's wrong? I might get rid of this background. So
We still hear you though.
that uses a lot of energy. Okay, thousands and thousands of people computing and checking their record on a chain with thousands of other records of the chain around the world. Like you said, it's $8,000 in energy use to mine 1 Bitcoin. Well, that's horrible for the environment. But if Bitcoin's worth $40,000, everyone who can mine is going to do it. So this is not useful to the environment, and that is not acceptable. So Tron is a different type of, this is what they call consensus model or proof of stake. And they have a group of nodes. These are computers that are recording and checking the blockchain to make sure that everything is in order and everything matches. They do that on a virtual private network, a VPN, with just a certain number of trusted nodes. So in other words, instead of having millions of people, whoever wants to try and mine, that's not allowed on this system. And so that utilizes exponentially less energy. There's still electrical energy because there are computers involved, but it's a minimal, tiny amount versus what the legacy mining tokens utilize, the Ethereums, the blockchains, and some or Bitcoins, and a few of the others. You know, there's some other good ones out there like Cardano. There's other things. We will, you know, talk about those through in our prosperity program, and we'll give people education as we go along on this. And there's one other thing I want to add here. Tron. So Tron is a protocol. It's a smart contract, and we're an asset of it. We didn't create our own new blockchain. We just became a token on a particular blockchain. And on Tron, if you have a few Tron, you can freeze them, which means you're staking them. You're not going to sell them. And that's helpful to the price of a token. We'll be staking as well, but that's a whole nother issue. So if you freeze, let's say you get 2 or 3 Tron, even just a few, and you freeze them, then you will earn the energy and bandwidth, the mining fee, as they call it, so that when you want to do a transaction, if you're only doing a few of them, it will be free. In our case, we're going to be doing thousands of them, so it won't be free, which is why we have to charge a blockchain transaction fee, because every time we send you SPADES from our community bank wallet, there's a little bit of a fee to cover that electrical cost and that energy cost.
So just clarifying it, you're saying that you don't need to have mining.
We don't have miners.
No miners for spades.
Not miners as they're normally considered in Ethereum and blockchain.
We have free miners in the community.
Free miners.
Ethereum, Bitcoin.
What does that mean?
Well, I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, Stephen, but the community, by growing the community, grows a demand for the coin, correct? Or the token.
Yes.
And that way we don't need to have mining per se.
Okay, so David's made a really interesting point here, and this gets in.
This is important, I think.
Okay. All right, look. This community, like the ogre in that, what was that?
Shrek.
Your ogre.
Shrek.
Right.
Donkey.
There you go, Bobby. Do it.
Like
Right.
onions, they've got layers.
Right. So this community has layers. This community has many layers, right? So look, anyone can come in and start earning cloud credits, and they can use those cloud credits to get things that they want. And they're not even on a blockchain. They don't even need to get to crypto tokens if they don't want to in order to benefit from this community. That's really important. They can also use our cloud credits to back a local community currency, which is our scale project, the social cooperative and local exchange, which leads to food security and other things within third world nations. For first world users who go and perhaps do our prosperity program, and they've earned now very quickly a couple thousand SPADES tokens, they're going to want to cash out their cloud credits and get the tokens and then stake their tokens and earn interest on the tokens while the community grows and builds the price of the value of the token. So this was built with everybody in mind, but a equal playing field, as it says. It's just Look, our world is very, very diverse, and there's different needs for different people depending on what community you live in. There's different needs even in the United States between communities, but it gets even greater when you talk about first world, second world, third world users. This can be a show in itself as well, but the complexity, the layers of the onion, there's something here for every single person based on where they are and what they need. And it's different for somebody from Colorado like us versus somebody from Kinshasa, you know, where they literally earn $2 a day as a teacher. That's what they get paid, $2 a day for their work. So giving them an opportunity to even make an extra $10 a month, you know, increases their income by 30%.
Well, and this is something that we have brought up before, but for the people out there that maybe aren't into crypto, but are part of our community because they want to participate. And even for those who are looking at this and just thinking like, well, maybe I'll check it out. One of the reasons why it's so important to understand digital currency is that every age is defined by its economic model, right? So in the age of hunter-gatherer, it was about, I have a carrot, I'll give you that for a potato, right? Then we transitioned into, the agricultural age, and it became gold and silver. Then we went into the industrial age, it became fiat currency, like the dollar or the euro. And now in the information age, the economic model absolutely is going to be digital currency. And I think that, with that understanding, you should want to be a part of this. One of the big reasons is not only just to make money, but to have an understanding of why it's important to be participating in this new economic model, because the people that participate in the beginning stages are going to benefit the most. They're going to be a part of this at the very beginning, and they're going to be able to build that wealth. And we want to be one of the vehicles that shows you a viable way to do it around a community while supporting charity and just being a part of something that is completely different and unique. It is really, as far as I never like to say anything 100% because then I'm wrong, but I don't know of anything that is doing this in the way that we're doing it. There's nothing out there, right? See, as far as we know, I'll say it that way.
Yeah, I don't know what I don't know, but I don't know of any other location where you've got basically a mini internet of everything. And more importantly for people, if I invest in Bitcoin, I really don't know a single thing I can do to increase the value of the Bitcoin. But if I've invested in spades, which means I just came on our platform and I earned some spades, maybe even by selling something here instead of on eBay, right, in our auction. Now I have some spades by cashing out. There is something I can do to increase the value of my token. I can participate in the community. It's that simple. I don't know anywhere else where that is a viable option. And I want to just expand just for a moment on what Bobby was saying here is, look, anyone who knows me, I definitely want to help charities, but I'm not just helping charities. I'm helping all of us. We're all helping all of us. The people in the developing world have to start accessing digital wealth in the global marketplace. They can't just keep using their natural resources locally and degrade the planet as a means for earning something. If we degrade our planet to a certain extent, and I don't want to get into the political debate over global warming and all that kind of stuff, but clearly the more we take from our local environment versus in order to earn wealth versus wealth coming from our creativity, our ideas, our marketing, our time, things that are of human origin, then we're gonna continue to create environmental impacts that I'm very concerned about my kids and my grandkids about that. So for those of you who, it's just kind of common sense. We've got to move into the information age, which means information is valuable, time is valuable, your knowledge is valuable, you as a human being are valuable. not what can we take from the earth in order to create value that's then distributed among humans.
Well, like the thing that Stephen has always said that I've always globbed onto is that instead of shooting a lion, you should shoot a lion video. Finding a new way to utilize the resources that are out there that aren't detrimental to the environment, to Earth, to all of that. And I think
There we go.
David,
David had a question.
yeah.
Yeah, the other thing too is when we first, the project has evolved quite a bit with all the team members, and I think in a good way. When we first started looking at this and looking at, okay, what kind of token do we want to make? We had an idea. We looked at different products, like some did remittances, like you were talking about, or helping people reduce fees when they send. A lot of people in the second or third world send money back home and they get charged enormous fees. Well, it's either XRP or XLM, which is two of the tokens, tries to help solve that problem. You look at other things like there's a thing called student coin out there that helps try and solve student problems. So a lot of these tokens, I think, address one problem. I think the nice thing here is we address environmental, economic, and community problems. We address, again, it's a mini internet, everything. It's a one-stop shopping mall. Hey man, I can go in here, I can get a job, I can talk to other people, I can watch a show, I can sell something. I'm not ruining the environment. I mean, there's a boatload of stuff. I can earn money with affiliate marketing. So there's a crazy amount of stuff that you can do here, which is kind of wild and I don't think ever been done before. And we don't have to mine the tokens. So I think when you look at the many, it's like the Swiss Army knife of cryptocurrencies. And for people who don't even like cryptocurrencies, you can go here, like they said, you can enjoy the community and have a blast and have like a barter market with these cloud credits. And you could barely spend any money and you can start earning money by throwing up some digital art. You can, who knows, they do crazy stuff. People will sit there and go on a hike and go geocaching or gaming, and people pay money to watch people do cheat codes and gaming. It's crazy what people will pay for. So you could basically, whatever you're good at, whatever you're passionate at, you can make money here out of thin air and all these great things. So I don't think a project like this, I've seen it yet. And I think it'll address, like they said, a lot of people's needs.
Well, and here's the one thing I think is very important to remember about how the community works and how the community truly benefits everybody. It benefits everybody because if you own a little bit of the Spades tokens, well, even if you don't care about X, Y, and Z, but you're about just this one thing, well, guess what? Everybody that's participating is then building the value. So I think that this is why what we're doing is going to be incredibly versatile to such a large group of people that have different interests and different things that they participate in. But everybody that participates still builds value for the community, which benefits everybody that's a part of the community.
Yeah, let me just add one thing, because the one feedback I've gotten from a variety of people is, well, you have so much stuff, how are people going to figure it out? If you're watching this, let me just, when my head comes back, look at this like a buffet. You don't have to do everything. Just pick the parts that are of interest to you, that are valuable to you, and utilize that which is being offered for you. You don't have to do everything. You don't have to sell at auction. You don't have to have a product. Do you want to make some money? We'll give you a product to sell. Not a problem. Okay. You don't want to vote on a charity. You don't have to vote. A lot of people in the US don't vote, and they probably, well, I'm not going to get into politics, like I said.
Now, actually, think of it this way. Think of it like your phone, right? You may only use 5 to 10% of what your phone is capable of doing, but that 5 to 10% is extremely valuable to you, right? So it's really, because there's old people that may only care about making a phone call. They want to text with their grandkids and they use the map so they can find things and get around. Well, even though they're only using like 1% of what the phone is capable of doing, that 1% is extremely valuable to them, right? So this is essentially that, but in a way where instead of it just being individualized, it is a community, and the community essentially is going to be supporting everybody that comes in, regardless of what seat at the table they want to sit at. We all get to sit together, and everybody is welcome to sit at our table. Whatever you find value in, that's where the value is to you.
So I texted, I put in the message a little question there, and Jack, thank you for answering it.
Oh, absolutely.
But maybe for people who are listening and watching, about the expected value that you're aiming for, the goal of the token.
$1 billion.
Yeah, yeah.
All right then.
And watching closely the market every single day, 7 days a week since 2000 and pretty much 14. I don't think it's too far-fetched to say, because of this beautiful community and what we're doing on a global scale, I really think we can definitely be around $1 to $3 once it's live, once it's on an exchange, $1 to $3 within a year. I really think we can do something like that.
Right. And we can't make any guarantees. There's no way.
Of course
That's
not.
so speculative right now that there's no way
Right.
to make a guarantee. I mean, obviously, there's many hopes, and I think that, you know, because of the amount of participation and the way that we're uniquely doing it, I think that the value could be pretty high down the road. But it's, you know, we really have to see how that goes, and how people participate, and how many people actually hang on to the SPADES token and the cloud credit and everything else. But, you know, it will it go up in value? Absolutely. And I think the thing that Stephen is about to say is that it's going to go up in value kind of on a curve slowly, and then I think it will expand, you know, beyond.
I mean, just logically, as the community grows, and it will grow, I mean, as people come in, you know, very few people will ever leave. They don't have a reason to leave, but they will refer other people, and many people will be significantly referring people because they will benefit by that financially, by marketing themselves, by bringing people into their groups. The charities that we support all bring in more people. It will only continue to grow. And as the community grows, the community is what creates the demand and the value of the token. That's where we're totally different than everything else. The value of a token is based on the demand for that token on crypto exchanges. Ours is tied to this community of people that will just continue to grow. So yes, it will go up. And, you know, Jack said $1 to $3. I think that's very nice. I'm not making any promises to anybody, but I think we're more like Litecoin. You know, Kira and I started in that at like 8 cents, and within a few months it went to 88 cents, and then it went up to, you know, like $8. And now I mean, at one point it was like $125.
Yeah.
I think, you know, you look,
Now I made 20 grand in 1 month from cryptos.
you're going to
That
get
was a lot.
You're going to get emails from people asking you for money now, dear.
Well, we spent it on our wedding. So it was used very well.
That's true.
I would say we always like to try to keep these shows to no more longer than an hour, because it just gets a little bit repetitive, and, you know, we don't want to over inundate people with information. So we're really coming up upon that.
Yes, we are. And we're going on a tangent, so we're covering a lot of stuff. I think each week we should concentrate on a different topic. Lorraine had a very good question when she was raising her hand here in chat about focusing on charities. I think maybe we should address that next week, Stephen and Bobby. What do you guys think? And David?
Yeah,
You know, look, I think tonight's is a pretty special show. A lot of people are looking
Yeah.
forward to tonight because the new site has been unveiled. We don't look like, well, what we used to. I have no problem going a little over. People can always turn off the video that are watching this because they're tired of seeing my head disappear.
Green screen.
Yeah. Lori, and actually I actually wanted to introduce Lorian to everybody because
Yeah.
she's our charitable
Yes.
director, and her experience is extensive. The people that she knows go so broad and so far. I've worked with Lorian for over a decade now. We did the Peace Day Global broadcast for the United Nations together. We've worked on various things. She has been broadcasting women's rights, women's issues, things for quite some time, made a lot of films, been on the board of directors for Medicine for Humanity. Actually, this is one you'll all know. Who remembers Live Aid?
Ha! You will not let me get on my video or see. for
Oh, we
some-
can hear you perfect.
We can hear you, Lorian.
But for
It's no
some
problem.
reason, you won't let me on my video, but that's okay. And
I-
that's
Oh,
probably,
I think, well, no, you should, I'm not stopping you, but we
Well-
know you've had some computer issues of late.
well, Jack knows I have too, so God bless Jack. Anyway, I adore him and we will work this week.
Yeah, we'll
But
work on it.
Stephen, get rid of the background because you disappear.
Yeah, I keep disappearing and
Oh, that's because you
I don't
moved.
think people want to really see I'm trying to figure out,
It's okay. We'll get that fixed this week when you order a blue screen on Amazon, $9. And then you'll never disappear.
I don't know what you want from me. All I know is I support you and I am so proud of what you are doing. And the only reason, people do need to know this, the only reason I am on board is because of the vision, the intention, your integrity, Kira's integrity, and everything that has been happening, that you and I have worked together for a lot of years. And I know how diligent you have put this together. And I am so proud of you.
okay, let's not make it about me, but what the charity,
And that's very good. Thank you, Lorian.
Yeah, that
You
was
are very
sweet.
welcome. No, it's not
Very
just about
sweet.
Stephen, but it's about a vision. And I've had visions in my life. And I know how important it is to see them come to fruition. And I know it takes an amazing team. So congratulations to everybody right now.
perfect.
Thank you, Lorian.
Yeah.
I would agree with Lorian too, because Stephen, you've talked about this stuff for as long as I've known you, which has been over a decade. And, it's just to see this come about it's just tremendous to see the fulfillment of a dream. It's just fantastic. I have a question on another topic, but we can keep on this one for a moment.
No, go ahead,
But,
David. Go ahead.
Because I'm involved with several groups of people that are involved with the third world or developing world, if you will. And one of the questions, for instance, we have some people that work here in Florida who are Guatemalans that are here and their families are still in those countries, and they have to constantly be sending money back and forth. And that was one of the things that intrigued me about what you've developed, is the ability for people to be able to send money without the fees of MoneyGram or Western Union or so on. That can be a tremendous benefit. I mean, it's a little bit of money every time, but they're doing it, every week or, maybe
Right.
2 or 3 times a week. And it just digs into the money they're making, and they're not making huge amounts of money on an hourly rate. And so that's one. Another is there's a group that we're associated with, that is made up of about 4,000 farmers in Latin America. They're all working in these very small farm communities where they're creating products and selling in the market. And they're getting paid some very generous returns for doing it. But again, the ability for them to be able to transact amongst themselves because they don't have a bank. This is something that could be a tremendous benefit of your platform. And then additionally, I have some friends in Africa that are involved in going into the bush, and they're acquiring rubber and taking it to the market, and they're paying the farmers back in the bush who the normal corporations won't go there to buy their product. They won't go back into the bush to get it.
Right.
These people go in, and then they have to literally take money in. They have to take cash in a bag and go in to pay these people, where it could be possible to set up an entire system with those farmers to make things work in a much more efficient manner. So
Right.
is that something, I mean, am I on the right page in terms of
Yes,
what
you
you
are.
guys?
Yes, you are.
So incredibly
You're still on the right
Definitely.
page. This is Shrek again. There's many layers. Okay. There's many layers on how this can actually work. And I mean that really, because everybody around the world may use not everybody, but people use a different language, but they mean the same thing. But there's a lot of ways to skin a cat. Let me just show you something real quick here. Okay. So this is the most basic way of one of our projects that's part of access points and scale, social cooperatives. And this is focused on food security. We think food security is critical. So you've got a private side, you've got all the farmers, and you've got members of their communities. Down here, that includes the artisans, the craftsmen, the trade apprentices, the mentoring programs, all the people in the community. And everybody should be able to eat, and they should be able to get the things they need from their local community, which is part of the sustainability. And then there's stuff that's left over, and that gets exported to the public side. And that's where some kind of organization with a account, it doesn't have to be a bank, it could be a bank account, it can be a cryptocurrency account, it can be, there are so many ways that technology has advanced where we deal with wealth. See, that's where cryptocurrencies are incredible in the information age, is they can be backing for anybody's credit, anybody's community currency. And that doesn't have to be a blockchain based currency. That's the purpose of our token. Our fundamental purpose, you look on our website, is to provide backing for online communities and offline communities. So it could be backing so that if one farmer is actually earning far more than one of the other farmers and they've got a surplus, how do they collect their surplus when things go to the public? So there are systems for this. And
is it currency independent, Stephen? Is it, for instance, if you're in like Ivory Coast or Ghana, where they've got the Western African franc, is this exchangeable between the cloud coin and the currency of record in that particular part of the world?
So the way our currency works is you can only cash out your cloud credit for a SPADES token, because the dollar or the crypto that came into the SPADES community in the first place to create that credit is used to buy our own tokens off of the exchange. So this does two things. It continually makes demand for our token and keeps it stable and actually rising. And two, all the tokens we bought, they go into a community bank wallet. And now when you go to cash out the cloud credits from your book sales, those tokens are there. But there's actually almost always going to be a profit, because the tokens have gone up in value. So when you cash out, you're getting less tokens than it cost us to buy. We get more tokens when we buy them, right? Okay. You got to think about that in your head for math, but let's move forward there, right? Now, once you have a SPADES token, you'll be able to swap it. You'll be able to exchange it for any of the thousands of tokens out there. And some of those are connected to debit cards. Some of those are connected to bank accounts. I mean, it depends where you are in the world. And that's a whole nother level and onion layer of why the information age and cryptocurrencies are so important, because of the way that they can interact with each other in a decentralized manner, where basically for government to try and stop something you're trying to do is very difficult. That's good for bad people, but the whole purpose is to provide a good purpose for this, right? I mean, just because there's one bad apple doesn't mean that you throw out the whole entire barrel, right? A gun can be used for good, a gun can be used for bad. Just to make it as clear as I possibly can. So yes, David, this is about creating wealth in a particular currency, which then can go as wide and as far as anybody can imagine. And more technologies are being introduced every day that will increase the number of tentacles and ways that can happen, including what Jared's talking about doing, which no one else knows what I'm talking about, but you do.
So one last question, and that is, so this launch is before the end of the month. So at that point, we can go and we can go and make these people aware of this system, and they can be able to take advantage of it in September.
Absolutely. Yes. I mean, literally we could basically open it today, but there's a few glitches that I'd rather address.
I'm just saying it's imminent.
Yep.
It's imminently available to anybody. Once it's launched, it'll be something that anybody can utilize.
100%.
Yes. Yes.
If you have an internet connection, you can utilize our platform.
Well, that's one thing that virtually everybody in the developing world has is an internet connection on a phone. They don't have
That's right.
anything else, but
That's
we
That
got
is
that.
correct. They may not be able to get a bank account, but they're able to connect through a smartphone and
Right.
download a digital wallet and be able to exchange digital, in our case, cloud credits, but digital currency.
Very cool. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for asking questions.
Yep. Yeah.
Well,
I don't see any other hands. I don't see any other questions. So
Definitely encourage everyone to get on the Facebook groups page for now. And if you want a topic of conversation, we can address that. Because the questions that were asked tonight, Kira, Lorian, and David were just very amazing. And the more we get, more people are going to have questions, we can address those. Those are awesome questions, guys.
the questions are the best because I don't know what it is that people want to know. But if they ask the question, then it makes it apparent to us. And we can focus more on addressing those things for the community at large. So I just want to thank everybody who's taken the time to sit through this because it's been a little long, and we'll be back next week. And once we launch again before the end of the month, and we'll probably be on an exchange before the end of the month as well. Just depends how those negotiations go. We will be starting to do other programs with the charities and specifically about the prosperity program. And in fact, next week, I'm going to do my very best to commit to Bobby and I going through prosperity program so that everybody understands just how much they can earn and what's entailed. And I mean, frankly, it's a fantastic program. So we've gone out of our way to make sure everybody will make money, because we want to empower the economy, right? We want you not only.
And the education, Stephen. I mean, we're not going to touch on it now, but the education is going to be of utmost importance too for those people in the developing countries to be able not only to have access to the internet, but they will be able to have an address so they can put currencies. I mean, it's so much. It's just like you said, the tentacles. It just keeps going and going.
You know what? I think it would be good to give a good shout out to all the people who have put money in already,
For
Yeah.
sure.
who are really helping to create the backbone of all this to support it.
Yep.
To pay for the programmers, to pay
Right.
for the graphic designer, the server costs, all those things. I mean, we have almost 150 investors now,
Yeah, I touched
and they
on it
come
just a little
every
bit.
day.
Yes,
Well,
they do.
I have a couple more I'm going to add this week.
Yeah, we're
Excellent.
just about
Nice.
running out of what we can sell pre-ICO because we have a tokenomics plan. But I do want to just point this out because
Well,
So many
she can still
working.
have her friends do it, right?
Yes.
Yes.
full amounts, yes, we have not taken any large investors. We wouldn't
We're
let.
capping at $2,500, right?
That was the most anybody's allowed to put in.
And we've gotten a number
we're
of those.
running- Yeah, but we're running out of tokens for our tokenomics plan. But I do want to share this because I think David, Jack, Bobby, everybody, yourself, everyone who's working on this project right now that are not contracted are volunteers. No one's been paid a penny that has designed this product.
Absolutely.
Onto that.
Yep.
Right. Lorian's a charitable director. She hasn't gotten a penny. The rest of us, we all do what we do